All right, guys, welcome back to Eden's Vine. Today we're gonna we already have the old pump, or the old motor off, and we're gonna go ahead. We got this new motor in, so we're gonna put it in. Yesterday you guys saw me install the hand crank, but that's before we absolutely knew we were gonna get this in today. So that's the old one, sorry. Before we knew we were gonna get this one in today. Now, it is in. I'll show you how it's wired up inside the box. Okay, I took a quick little video of that, so I'll show you how it's all wired up in there with the startup capacitor and all that good stuff. And I don't think that this motor is trash, so, you know, we're going to keep this around, and we're going to get another startup capacitor for it, see if that's the problem. If that was the problem, then now we've got a backup motor, and we've got the hand crank option for the destemmer. So I like having a backup of a backup of a backup, unnecessarily so maybe with the motors, but at least we've got the manual option now if we need it. Now I was going to process some fruit manually, but yeah, I don't have to now, so I'm just not going to do it. Okay, so if it becomes the case that I have to, I'll get it on video for you guys. But if I don't have to do that, I'm not going to. All right, and I'm sure that you guys are kind of the same way. If I can use the luxury item a little bit, I'm going to use that rather than using the hand crank. Okay, but the hand crank is there, and I'm pretty sure it would work just fine if we needed it. Anyway, let's get to putting this back on the destemmer and see if everything works out. First thing I need to do is I need to get my pulley back on the shaft. Now, this other shaft that was on the old motor is the same size as this shaft. So theoretically, this pulley should slide on there if I ask it nicely. So I'm gonna get some lube and see if I can get this to slide on to, I don't want too much getting down in my motor. Okay, so I'm just spraying a little bit of this. This is what I've got. I've got the coil, so that deep penetrant. So there we go. All right, and then I'm gonna hammer on this. I've got a rubber mallet, so I think this will work nicely. There we go. Just tapping it on. And it's very important that this goes on the right way. So I know that this is the outside, or my pulleys aren't gonna line up on the machine. I also know this is the right way because the pulley puller gets behind here and yanks. It's got like three little fingers, and it comes around here like so, and then it's got a screw in the middle and a rod that pushes on that axle, that PTO, whatever you want to call it, rod stub, but it's pushing on there and it's pulling on those fingers, and it just keeps screwing down till it pulls this pulley off. Anyway, keep going because we want this to sit flush. So I'm just going to tap it right there in the middle. And I have it sitting on wood, and you guys can inform me because this is, I don't do this all the time, so it's not something that I'm like, I would say that I'm a pro at or a professional at. I just know that when things break down out here, I've got to figure out how to fix it. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm figuring out how to fix it. I look at how it went together. I figure out how to take it apart, and then we go from there. Okay. Now, the one thing that's a little different about this one is that it is threaded down the middle. So I don't really fully understand like what that means yet, and I'm assuming also that this rod is the same length as this other shaft. That they're the same length. We're gonna figure that out when we get this on the the destemmer. What I do know is that the pulley's edge sat flush to this little ridge, and I don't know what that ridge is called, so I'm gonna call it like a key. Okay, I can look this up later and give you the right name in the video, but anyway, it sat flush to this. So, and it does look like there's a little lip there that exists on this first motor. So I know I'm not deep enough yet, so I'm just gonna tap around the edge. And I'm just trying to get this thing to go all the way down. Whoop. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to get this thing to go all the way down where the edge of that key is on the edge of my pulley. Looks pretty good. There we go. All right. I call that good. Now, the other way we're gonna know is when we finally get it on the machine, and if there's any wobble, how I suspect we'll know anyway, is if there's any wobble in the belt, okay? So let me go get that belt. This belt is gonna go right around here, just like that. And if you remember on the hand crank, the other side of the belt goes around that pulley. Okay, and then when this turns, it's gonna move this belt, and it's gonna turn that other pulley. All right, let me lay this down. We'll keep working. Okay, so here are my holes. I go ahead and get my bolts ready. And I'm not sure the size of these, so I'm gonna have to kind of play around with it and let you know the size. This is a bolt just for spacing. It just makes sure that it's off of a surface a certain distance, okay? And it just sits. If this is the bottom of the destemmer, it sits on there like that and keeps the motor from going too close to the destemmer or from wobbling around. All right. So I need to think about top and bottom. This would be the top of the destemmer right here. This would be the top, and over here would be the bottom. So my plate's gonna go on like so, and hopefully my holes line up. That's the idea, you know, that's the idea here. Now, I think what I want, and I do want it to go this way. Okay? I'm gonna put my lock washer, my nylon threaded nut over here. Okay? So there's my lock washer. It's just a nylon threaded nut. Okay? I'll put that over here on the underside. I do think that's how I want to do it, because I don't think I want it like that. Or I'm going to change my mind. So you guys are seeing me think in real time here. So I'm going to just do this on one side, and that'll keep it tied up on that side, and then we'll do the washer and the nut on this side. Okay? I like that better. $13. That'll do it. And that's the top, and it will sit up next to the destemmer like this. So now I gotta find that rod. So that'll be the next fun part. Where did we put the mounting rod that goes through here? Okay, we're gonna go see if we can find it. Aha, found it. It's right here. Cool. And then it's just gonna sit, it's gonna go right through there. Okay? All right, so what I'm gonna do, and if you notice, it's got this little pin on the end to make sure that the motor doesn't fall off. So I gotta go see if I can find one of those or put something on there like a washer or something that'll lock it for now. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem, but we'll figure that out. Okay, the other thing I can do is I can drill a hole through this. I can drill a hole through that and put a cotter pin in there. And I kind of like that idea better, or a linch pin even. I kind of like that idea better than that weird circular retainer pin, whatever they call those. I'd rather have a linch pin in there. I'd rather have a linch pin in there. All right, I'll end up getting one of those from Tractor Supply or something like that, one of those box stores or something. And they usually have a good selection of linch pins. Again, not being paid by them, just being honest about where I get a linch pin or a cinch pin right now. I want to use, I could put a cotter pin in there. That might not be a bad idea too. All right, let me get this thing on here, get it belted up, and let's see if it even turns. All right, guys, I actually think a cotter pin on there is a bad idea. I think the linch pin's a bad idea too, because I can't get it. I won't be able to get it to fold over right there. I have to run it this way. So the best idea is a cinch pin. Let me show you what those look like. This is a cinch pin. Okay, and all it requires is a hole, and with that, this goes through the hole, okay? And it's gonna retain the metal, it's gonna go around the metal rod right here in the middle of those two little ridges, so right in here, all right? Just simple little tool to keep things in place, and I want one that's much smaller than this. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this, and the rod is going to go through here and through that other hole, okay? And so if we're looking, when we go to drill for that cinch pin, we got to drill somewhere in here, okay? Or I got to go get one of those little weird, I don't even know what they're called. It's like a little disc that goes around this thing. I don't like those, but maybe it makes sense for this. Okay, anyway, this is going to straddle this tube here that's welded onto the machine. So just go in here, right through. Okay? Piece of cake. See back there, that's all that bolt does, is make sure that the distance between the motor and the stemmer stays the same. And then the rod goes through that hole, through the tube, and out the other side after going through the hole in the mounting bracket. So I'm going to call this the mounting pin or mounting rod, and then this white part's the mounting bracket, and this welded part, I don't know what I would call that, the mounting tube or whatever. Okay, start button, stop button, emergency stop. On the emergency stop, it's got a little raised piece of plastic that just hits the stop button. That's all it does, okay? All right. I've still got my handle on there for manual purposes. It cannot stay there, so before I put Humpty Dumpty back together again, I'm gonna have to take that handle off. It's not a big deal, it's just 17 millimeter, and I'll just turn that nut off and take that out, and then make sure I go put that in a place where I can find it again, because if this ever happens, all I have to do is remove the cover, which is sitting right over there, Okay, so I just removed the cover. That's 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. Well, this one's just a nut. Okay, but 2 bolts and a nut. I remove those, and then I'm in here, and then I just got to put this handle on here and tighten it up, and then I can keep going. Okay, so let me go ahead. I find a place for the camera, and then I'm going to put the belt back on. I'd probably do that right now with one hand. So, belt just goes around there, goes around the pulley on the motor, and then it's going to go around the pulley on, and it doesn't sit too tight, guys. It's not like this is actually going to help me get it on there, actually. Look at that. Okay, cool. And then it's just going to turn. See how everything's turning? So this motor is going to turn everything. Now, when that motor kicks on, I want to be away from this stuff because all of this movement doesn't stop until the power cuts off. So I don't want to be on this side of things while it's going. And I don't want to be in there while it's going. And I don't want to be in there while it's going. But everything's going to be opened up while I'm working on this. So I'm going to make sure that I'm over here. And then if I need to look at this side, I'm going to come over here, take a look at it, make sure it's okay. But when it fires up, I'm going to be over here in case that handle or something goes flying off of this thing. It shouldn't be turning too fast, but I will say that rod was turning really quick, and I'm not too sure how fast the other one turned without having all of this gearing and all of the connections. So I don't know if this one's turning faster. It should be very similar. It's the one provided by the maker of this particular destemmer, so it should be fine. But anyway, okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. I've got to get a little bit closer to a receptacle somewhere. So let me get set up for that, and then we're going to fire this up and see how it's running. Okay, guys, we're plugged in. I'm plugged in right over here. Just making sure that and I kind of like this because I'm on this side of the wire, so I can't go over here and get myself into trouble. But I'm going to go ahead and fire this up. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so just a quick observation. That is running considerably faster than it did with the old motor. Now, that old motor is several years old. I don't know when exactly I got the destemmer. I'd have to go back and look at our records. Pretty early on, though, probably like 16 or 17, we got this destemmer. Maybe 18. So 16, 17, or 18, we got this destemmer. So like 7, 8 years old, would that be right? If it's 16, it's 10 years old. 18, it would be 8 years old, going on its 9th year. So it's somewhere between 8 and 10 years old. So, you know, maybe it started out that fast, but it's no longer that fast, if that makes sense. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to get this thing off, and then I'm going to get the cover on, and I'll show you how I do that, and then we're going to go ahead and call it good. Just a 17 millimeter. That's that. I'm going to leave the nut on, make sure I have it. I'm gonna go find a little home for this, put it up. And now, time for the cover. So this cover has a little lip that's gonna go behind that gear right back here. Two nuts. It's got like a built-in kind of lock washer system on it, and then just a washer and another nut. And I'm pretty sure these are 13 millimeter too. There's a built-in screw over here. It's like welded on. Yeah, it's welded on, and then it just tightens down. Back this up, I'll plug it in again. We'll turn it on, make sure everything's running. Green button. Everything's running. I think that's going to wrap up another episode of Eden's Vine. Thank you guys for watching this repair on my destemmer. It's one I didn't really want to have to make, but it happened. So here we are. Anyway, we're set up. We're ready to harvest some grapes. I think this thing's going to work just fine. I appreciate the new motor coming from More Wine. They got it here fast, guys. They got it here in just a few days. I didn't even rush it. They just got it here. So very thankful to them. Old motor, I think it's still going to be a thing that we can work with. As I said before, we just need to find another startup capacitor for it. You guys at More Wine, if you guys would like to send me a startup capacitor, I'll put that thing back on there and we can see if your 10-year-old motor is still running. I think it would. But you guys let me know. You know, I'm not getting paid by them either, but I'll put their startup capacitor back on that thing and see if I've got two motors here that are interchangeable. That would be great. Okay? All right. Nonetheless, this is what we've got. It's running. Everything's looking good. I'm very happy with this repair. I hope it helps you guys out too. You know, when things break down on you, you've got options. You can go with the manual option. You can go with the electrical option. Whatever makes sense for your situation. If you've got to make something work right then and there, maybe the manual option's the way to go. I'm pretty sure you can find those handles at a lot of the box stores. You could probably rig up something pretty easy. You know, if you just spend an hour or two inside you know, like a Depot, a Lowe's, or a Tractor Supply or something, just looking for what you need and getting you the right drill bit, a washer, a nut, and the right bolt. And you might have what you need, you know. So anyway, this worked out here. You guys have a nice night. If you like this content, please please click subscribe, please comment. Let me know what you might do differently in this situation. If any of you guys have suggestions for servicing these bearings on this particular machine, let me know, because again, as I said, this is moving faster. Servicing bearings is something I've rarely ever done. And so, you know, any advice you guys have would be very helpful. You know, should I just take the bearing out, leave them alone until they break, take them out, replace them with a new bearing after I measure them, contact the manufacturer to get the right bearings, or see if I can grease them in some way? You guys let me know, okay? Because I'm seriously requesting information on that, because I want to know what to do here. Anyway, thank you guys. Y'all have a nice night. We appreciate y'all. God bless.